Welcome to Korath Health. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right during intimacy, but still something feels missing? You might be touching, kissing, holding, but somehow the emotional ignition just isn't there. What if I told you that there's one type of touch, scientifically validated, deeply sensual, and emotionally magnetic, that most men never think to use? And it's not because they don't care. It's because no one ever taught them how powerful it is. Today, I'll show you exactly what this touch is, why it matters so much, and how to do it right, step by step. I'm Margaret, and before we dive into this incredibly insightful conversation, please take a second to like, comment, and subscribe to Korath Health. Your support truly helps us bring more of this warm, science-backed guidance directly to you. Let's get straight into it. The number one touch that drives many women wild, yet is almost never used by men, is slow, focused touch on the lower back and sacrum area. Yes, the sacrum. That's the flat, triangular bone just above the buttocks at the base of the spine. Why is this area so powerful? Because it's densely packed with nerve endings and lies close to the parasympathetic nerve centers. Those are the ones responsible for deep relaxation and arousal readiness. In other words, when touched slowly and attentively, the sacrum signals safety and pleasure to the brain. Most men skip this area entirely, but when it's done with care, it awakens something primal. Have you ever noticed how your partner leans into your hand when you rest it gently on their lower back? That's the nervous system responding, and it's beautiful. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The sacrum isn't just a sensory hotspot. According to neuropsychological research, light pressure in this region increases blood flow to the pelvic floor and triggers a calming cascade of hormones. These include oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and dopamine, the pleasure molecule. This combination doesn't just feel good, it creates an emotional imprint, a kind of touch memory that lingers well beyond the moment. So how do you actually do it? Here's a practical technique. Place your palm flat against her lower back, just above the buttocks. Let your hand rest there for a few seconds. Don't move. Then slowly begin to trace small circles with the base of your palm, applying the slightest pressure. Go slow, slower than you think. Let your breath match the rhythm of your hand. You'll start to feel her body melt under your touch. Why? Because you're giving her nervous system exactly what it needs to open up. Have you ever wondered why massage therapists linger near this area? They know its power. Now, let's layer in another element. Temperature variation. This is a subtle but wildly effective addition. Before starting, warm your hands, or even better, use a warm compress for a few seconds on her lower back. The contrast between the warmth and your skin adds a layer of intimacy and comfort. When warmth is applied to this area, it relaxes the muscles of the pelvic floor, increases circulation, and heightens body awareness. Many women don't even realize how much tension they hold there until it begins to release under this kind of touch. So ask yourself, when's the last time you used warmth as a sensual cue, not just for comfort? That could be a game changer. Another often overlooked detail is prolonged skin-to-skin pressure. Men often move too quickly, stroking, tapping, shifting. But research shows that static, sustained pressure, just holding, can have a more profound impact than movement. When you press your hand gently and steadily against the sacrum, you're signaling, I'm here, I see you, I'm not in a rush. That security rewires the emotional tone of intimacy. And here's a tip. Do this not just during intimacy, but during everyday moments, when you're standing behind her at the sink, while she's brushing her hair, even in bed before sleep. These moments create a blueprint of trust that leads to deeper arousal later. Think about it. How often are we truly held without an agenda? That kind of touch is deeply erotic because it's emotionally rich. Let's also not forget the power of synchrony. When your breath matches hers and your touch responds to her cues, her sighs, her movements, her stillness, you enter a shared physiological rhythm. This is what researchers call interpersonal attunement. It's more than just harmony, it's intimacy at the biological level. When your hand stays grounded on her back while you breathe together, your hearts begin to sync. This isn't poetic, it's neurophysiological. Couples who experience this kind of rhythmic entrainment report higher emotional satisfaction and arousal. So next time you touch her there, pause and ask yourself, am I moving with her or just on her? Now let's talk about the intent behind the touch. Women are incredibly perceptive. If your touch is rushed, performative, or disconnected, it won't land. But when your hand is guided by curiosity, presence, and affection, it communicates volumes. Ask yourself, am I touching to take or to connect? The sacral area responds not just to physical motion, but to emotional intention. This kind of touch, when done with mindfulness, can make her feel cherished, seen, and deeply wanted. That emotional safety leads directly to desire. Isn't that what we all really want? And finally, here's something most don't consider. This kind of touch activates mirror neurons in the brain. These are the cells that help us feel what others feel. When you touch her with slow, reverent intention, her brain reads your calm, grounded energy and reflects it. That's why, even if she was distracted, tense, or unsure, your energy can guide her into arousal. You're setting the emotional tone through your body. So next time, skip the obvious spots and start with the sacred ones, the ones that speak safety, reverence, and warmth. Let's wrap up. The most overlooked yet deeply arousing touch for many women is on the sacrum, the lower back area that holds more emotional and sensory power than most people realize. Done with patience, warmth, presence, and steady pressure, it can awaken parts of her body and heart that she didn't even know were waiting. This isn't a technique, it's an invitation to be slower, gentler, more attuned, to create intimacy through intention, not just action. And yes, it might just drive her wild, not because it's flashy, but because it feels like truth. If this spoke to you, please give the video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments if you've ever tried or received this kind of touch. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Korath Health for more meaningful, medically informed conversations about intimacy, wellness, and connection. And one last friendly reminder. While these tips are grounded in research and experience, always check in with your partner to ensure consent and comfort. Every body is different, and if you have concerns or questions, a qualified healthcare or relationship professional can offer guidance tailored to you. Stay gentle, stay grounded, and we'll see you in the next Korath Health video.